Tonia's Home and Kitchen. So guys, I have a little treat for you and for me today. I was going through my cupboards and I found my mum's old cookbook. This is very, very old. In fact, it's a year younger than me. This particular edition was published in 1965. So it's 55 years old, guys. Isn't that incredible? And the first edition was actually published in 1927. So you can see it's very loved. My mom used it, like the spine isn't even secure anymore. And she also has some handwritten recipes in here, which is very sentimental for me. And my mom was an amazing cook, and it's cute to see her handwritten notes. The only problem is, back in those days, they were so good at baking. She literally just put the ingredients in. She didn't give any instruction as to what temperature to cook anything at, because she would have known all that, right? So I'm not going to tempt those. But Mom always made a tray of, she called them her pink buns, right? So it was a tray of sponge, and I believe it's a Medeira that she used, and she put a few walnuts in it. And then she just mixed up some icing sugar, and she put a tiny, tiny drop of red food colouring in it to make the icing pink. And then she cut it into squares, and it was just so good. She used to make them and we would take them to school, etc. So actually, if you guys ever get your kids back to school, this would be a good recipe to send as a treat, obviously without the walnuts, because you can't send nuts. But there's just something lovely about a good homemade cake or bun. And I thought I would give it a try. Now, I'm going to tell you, I tried it, and I did a video and all of it, but I tried it with just half of the recipe, and I put it into an oblong baking tin, and it turned out this high, and you could have bounced it off the wall. So it was an absolute failure. So I decided I'd try it again, and this time I'll double up the ingredients, and hopefully I will have more luck. Now, what I also found in here, guys, which is so cute, when I was young, I'm guessing probably 12 or so, I entered into a bake a cake competition, and that's my handwriting from when I was young. So I know it's my handwriting because I do recognize some of the pen strokes, and I didn't win. I actually remember making this. I do actually remember making it. But anyway, it's cute to find these sentimental things in your cookbooks. And my sister used to make a curry, and that's her handwriting from when she was young, and that's her curry recipe in it. So it was cute. So anyway, guys, let's give this a try. Hopefully I'll have better luck than I did the last time, and as I say, by doubling up the ingredients, I'm hoping that it will make a difference. So it's called a Medeira cake. There's two different types in the book, but I'm going to make just the regular one because there is 180 degrees written in pen beside it. I don't know if I did it or if somebody else did it, but I thought, okay, well, at least I have the temperature, because it's actually all the temperatures are in gas, because my mum used gas. And I think this was actually, yeah, so this would have been the Radiation New World cookbook. So this would have been the cookbook that would have come with her gas cooker. Hilarious, eh? So anyway, let's try it. So it requires, the original recipe requires 4 ounces. I'm going to double up, so I'm going to use 8 ounces of butter. Okay guys, so we need a ½ pound of butter. I don't think we need to explain to you, just cut your pound in half. Now I'm actually going to chop this up because actually it's already softening. I'm going to chop this up because I did take it from the fridge, and I did wash my hands, guys, so I just want to make it into smaller little chunks so it's easier for me to mix. Now, I read through the recipe, and as I say, I made it the last time, and it kind of contravenes everything that I ever learned when I was cooking. So I always thought that when you were mixing eggs and butter that you needed to use a little bit of flour to stabilize it, but this actually says no. And so I followed the instructions, and it was correct. It does eventually come back up. It looks like it's curdling initially, and then it actually pulls itself back into place. So let's try it that way. Now guys, I'm going to use the paddle. Okay, don't use the whisk, it wouldn't be strong enough, and you don't need the bread hook. So this is the perfect attachment for your mixer. If you don't have a mixer like this and just have one of those hand mixers, well then just use whatever attachments you have, and maybe just make sure the butter is softer so it's easier for you to use it. And let's see what else we need. So we need, so we're going to do 8 ounces of butter, 8 ounces of caster sugar. Now I don't use caster sugar here in Canada because our sugar is actually very fine. Here it's finer than the granule at home. So, but I think you could probably use regular sugar too, guys. But this is actually ideal. Now I'm going to weigh the flour and the sugar because typically in Ireland they would have always weighed. They don't use cups, or the older people would just know what to put in. They'd put a fistful of this and a fistful of that. But I don't have a cup conversion on this. I only have ounces. So I want to make sure I make it correct the first time, but I will try and give you guys a conversion in the description when I'm actually putting the video together. And I'm going to measure 8 ounces. It's just a teensy bit over, so let's just take it out. Okay. 8 ounces of sugar. Now I'm going to show you. Can you see how fine the sugar is here in Canada? It's, from memory, it's much finer than the sugar in Ireland. Okay guys, so we're going to add our sugar to our butter and we're going to beat. Okay guys, I'm hoping you can see better from this angle. So, let's see how soft that is. Guys, as usual, I forgot to mention, put your oven on to 180 degrees. If it's a fan or a convection oven, about 162 degrees. In Canada, that would be 360, or I'll actually confirm that, I think probably about 340. Should be about the right temperature. I can never remember the conversion correctly, so do check in the description below for, or actually, you know what, I'll put it up on the screen. I'll put it up on the screen while I'm doing the video. Okay, so guys, we're going to add 4 eggs to this. Guys, I like to use free run eggs, so, but of course you can use whatever you want, but I think I just feel so guilty for the poor chickens, so I always use free run eggs. So I'm just going to mix in the first egg, and add the second egg. Okay, stop that for a second and let me bring down the butter so it gets mixed in. Now, you're going to see that, like, how it looks, and you'll be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to bring this back, which is what I thought, but it does come back. You'll be surprised when you see how well it'll come together when it's been beaten for long enough. Okay, so let's start combining. I'm going to start off slowly. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I'm going to show you. Can you see what I mean about it looking like it's curdled? Let me zoom in. See, you think this is never going to come back, but it does. Watch this. Just keep beating it. Okay guys, it's still looking a little curdled, but I'm thinking it will be fine. The last time I made it, it wasn't as hot, so I think it did a better job of bringing it all together. But I think it's going to be fine. Okay guys, so 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 12 ounces of flour. Now I'm going to sift it and the baking powder together. And then we're going to add it to our butter and egg mixture. Sorry guys, I forgot a pinch of salt. And we're going to spoon it in to the mixture. Just turn it on slowly and add the flour. Okay, now I'm going to so I gave that a really good mixing. I'm going to take off our padlock. Get off all the extra. And I just mix it right through here with my spatula, and now I'm going to add my walnuts. But guys, you don't have to add walnuts. Don't like them, or you could add pecans or something. So I'm going to do it the way my mama do it. She probably would have thrown some, you know, about that much in. What would that have been? Maybe half a cup of walnuts. And I'm going to mix that around. And now I'm going to add it to my pan. Now, as you could see there, I hope that I put some butter on my pan. Now I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour and just tap the flour all around so it coats the butter. And this will help it not to stick to the pan. Now this is just a cheap pan, guys, that I bought actually in Dollarama. So I am going to put a tray underneath it so that the base doesn't burn. But if you have a good strong pan, you should be fine. Okay, so let's spoon the mixture into our pan. So this is, I should have measured it, maybe a 12 by 8. Oh my gosh, I hope I have enough mixture again. I hope I'm not going, I made that in a smaller pan the last time, and why do I have the funny feeling that this is going to be the same problem? I think it is, guys, so I'm not going to use this size pan. There's a change of plan. I'm going to use the smaller pan because I think that's just going to create exactly the same issue I had the last time. So I'm going to make it in this size pan, which is about half of that. Because I've had that issue with this pan, and I've doubled the ingredients and then I've doubled the size of the pan. That was kind of not very smart, was it? Luckily I figured that one out before I put it in the oven. Okay, so now I'm going to get a bit of butter. I'm going to butter this one. A little bit of flour. And let's try this. Okay. Let's hope. Yeah, that's better. Can you guys see? Let me push it out a little bit. Now, so they say to bake this for an hour, but I think it was a little too much. I think the ovens now are probably a bit more efficient. So I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes and then I'm going to double check on it and make sure that it doesn't overcook, because it came out like I literally could have bounced it off the wall the last time. So let's try it for 45 minutes, test the center and take it from there. Okay, so I'm going to spread out my cake batter. Okay, and into the oven it goes. put it on that pan. Set my timer for 45 minutes. Oh, my fingers are greasy. Okay guys, I'll be back to you when that's done. So 45 minutes was absolutely perfect. You see when I shake it, there's no wobbling in the middle? Oh my god, it smells so good, guys. I think I may have done it this time. So I'll just show you how I checked it as well. I took a very thin knife. If you have a skewer, you can do it as well. And I'm just going to stick it right through the cake like this. And if I pull it out, and it's clean. So we know it's cooked. So 45 minutes was absolutely perfect. It smells so good. Let me see, actually. It will come out. Oh my gosh, guys. Oops. Look at how good that turned out. Okay guys, I didn't measure, but there's about a cup of icing sugar, I'd say, in there. I have my red food colouring. And I'm going to start off, I'll just put maybe two tablespoons. Now, it doesn't have to be as hard as you would if you were icing like a Christmas cake or something. So I actually think that 2 tablespoons is going to be perfect. Just going to mix that around. I think I'm going to need more than that, eh? Let's judge it. So I'm going to put probably... Oh gosh, I'm so bad, guys. 2 cups of icing sugar. I have to get another spoon. I'll put in 2 teaspoons of that. So I'm literally just going to put just 1 drop. Did you see that? 1 drop should be enough. It's a nice pale pink, which is exactly the way my mum used to make it. So I'm going to put it on top of this tray to catch the extra icing. Okay guys, so now I'm going to pour it over the top of the cake. Doesn't that look good? I'm dying to taste it. I haven't had this in years, guys. So my mum passed away in 2020. But prior to that, she wasn't in the best of health, and she actually lived with me till she passed away. And she didn't really do any baking towards the end of her life. So I haven't had this in a long, long time. I am so looking forward to trying it. Okay guys, we can't wait any longer. The icing's kind of set, but I'm going to cut it for a cup of tea. So I hope I can stay in frame while I do this. So how soft it is. Okay guys, so have a look at that. It's absolutely perfect. Okay guys, I just took a bite. It is so good. It brings me right back to my childhood. Guys, I hope you try this. It is delicious, and it's going to be well received with a cup of tea now out in the back garden on this beautiful July day. Okay guys, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely amazing, and I hope to be back soon with another recipe.